This is Lab 2, build a switch and router network. First, I'm going to set up the topology. I'm going to attach the devices shown in the topology diagram and cable as necessary. Next, I'm going to configure the IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway settings on PCA. This is based on the addressing table. Next, the same thing, we are going to configure the IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway settings on PCB. After that, we're going to ensure the connectivity. We're going to ping PCB from a command prompt window on PCA. We can see that the request time is out because it's not connected. For step 2, to configure the router, we're going to connect PCA to the router via the console port. We're going to enter the configuration mode, set up our router as R1, and then disable the DNS lookup with the command no IP domain lookup. And then we're going to assign class as the privilege exact encrypted password, and then assign Cisco as the console password and enable login. And then we're going to assign Cisco as the VTY password and enable login. I chose 015. And then I'm going to encrypt the plain text passwords with the command service password encryption. Next, I'm going to create a banner with the command banner motd to warn anyone accessing the device. And then I'm going to configure and activate both interfaces on the router. So first, I'm going to activate interface G0/0/0 by entering all the addresses in the addressing table. And then activate the interface with the command no shutdown. Next, I'm going to configure the interface G0/0/1. Enter the IP addresses and then also activate them. Next, I'm going to configure the interface description for both interfaces to indicate which device is connected to it. So for interface G0/0, it is connected to host PCB, so I'm going to write that. And then also for interface G0/0/1, it is connected to F0/5 on S1. So just write it up. I'm going to enable IPv6 routing with the command IPv6 unicast routing, and then save the configuration with copy run start on the privilege mode. And then I set the clock on the router with the time and date now. And then as we've set the configuration for router, we're going to check the connectivity from PCB to PCA. So we're going to ping PCB from PCA. And we can see that the pinging is successful, so it is ensured. Next step, we're going to configure into the switch. So we use console cable to connect PCB to the switch through the console port. And then we get into the CLI to enter configuration mode. And then we set our device name as S1. And then disable DNS lookup. And then we're going to configure and activate the VLAN interface on S1. Enter the IP address. and then activate it. And then we're going to configure the default gateway for S1. This is also referred to the addressing table. And then end. Next, in the privilege mode, we're going to save the running configuration. And we're done. We're going to verify the connectivity now. So from PCA, we're going to ping PCB again to check the end-to-end connectivity. And it is successful. And then from S1, we're going to ping PCB again. It should be successful, and yes. For the next part, firstly, we're going to display the routing table on the router. And this is it. And then we're going to show the IPv6 route. And then we're going to also show the IP interface information. The first one is just 0/0/1. And then we're also going to show the IPv6 interface for the G0/0/1. And this is it. Lastly, we're going to display a summary list of the interface on the router and switch with the command firstly show IP interface brief on router 1 also. And then show IPv6 interface brief on command R1 to see the IPv6 interface information. And lastly, on the switch S1 CLI, we're going to enter command show IP interface brief to show the information. And that's all.